Hi, it's Stuart Sutton. Hoping you're having a great Tuesday morning so far. This week's Tuesday morning marketing tip is one I've used for 25 years. Very, very effective. If you'll learn this, it will serve you very well in many different situations. Again, this is a psychological rule. It's in effect, and you can use it or you can ignore it. Now, you can pass this tip on to other real estate agents. You can pass it on to people outside of real estate, because marketing is people are people. The rule of the big ask. This one, again, very effective. This very simply says if you ask a closing question, a major commitment, anything that's you consider a large commitment, and the prospect rejects you, there's a brief time when you have leverage. You need to follow up with another closing question. And most people pass this up. Truthfully, most people aren't comfortable rejecting you. Now, if you've been in the real estate business a while, like I have, you may have met people who really don't mind rejecting you. As a matter of fact, they kind of like it, maybe even relish it. But most people don't. For the most part, it's not comfortable for people to reject you. It's a psychological win for both of you if you'll ask another question that they can say yes to. But that's really one of the keys. They have to be able to say yes to it. It's got to be simple and easy enough that they can say yes. So now's the time to ask the smaller question. Don't pass this opportunity up. I'm about to give you some examples, but don't pass this opportunity up to get a smaller victory for you and for them. So make a smaller, easier to accept request of the prospect who just rejected you. I'll give you a couple examples. Number one Girl Scout in America sold the most cookies, didn't set up a table at Walmart or Target, went door to door. This was a few years back, but she was on a talk show, and she used this strategy even though she didn't quite know it. The talk show host asked her, "How did you sell so many cookies?" She said, "I would go to the front door, and when they answered, I would say, my Girl Scout troop needs $32,000 to go on a trip to Disneyland. Do you happen to have $32,000 you could donate?" Of course, most people were a little taken aback and said, "Well, no, I don't have $32,000 to give you." And she would say, "Well, in that case, would you mind buying a couple boxes of cookies to help us out?" Now, her conversion ratio was outrageously high. Hardly anybody didn't buy a couple boxes of cookies because she used that strategy, which they had to reject her and say, "Well, no, we can't give you that." But this was a small request. So compared to the big request, the next one was easy. So a charity went out and they asked people if they would spend 30 to 45 minutes with one of their at-risk kids at lunchtime. And they were taught by a marketing company this particular strategy. So they went out and they said, "Would you mind spending a full day with our kids at a circus?" And of course, they did have some people who would do that, but for the most part, people said, "Well, I don't have that kind of time, and there's not enough time to prepare, et cetera, et cetera." So they'd say, "Hey, that's fine, we understand completely. In that case, would you mind spending 30 to 45 minutes at lunch with one of these kids?" And their acceptance rate skyrocketed. Why? Because psychologically, they'd been rejected, and then they asked a much easier to accept question. That's kind of like what we do in real estate to a great degree. We ask for a listing appointment or showing appointment or whatever the case might be. And if we get rejected, we tend to just move on or maybe follow up later. But you have a very brief moment where you have very, very strong leverage. So I've used this with my pre-list package. If I ask for a listing appointment and I'm rejected, I'll say, "I understand completely. In that case, would you mind if I had a package sent to you? It tells you everything you need to know about selling your home and how to maximize your value, whether you use me or anyone else. Would you mind if I had that sent to you?" Of course, most of the time they'd say yes. They just rejected me. They felt bad about it. Now I get my foot back in the door. They feel good because they were nice to me. And I get a highly professional, very good quality pre-list package in their hands. I hope that makes sense. How about someone who doesn't want to sign an agreement to look at a bunch of houses, to maybe make you their buyer agent for the next 3 months? How about if you show them one house? What if we showed you one house and make you aware of the diligence we go through, the information we provide, and the preparation we take to make sure that you are seeing the best home and get the best deal for you? From being committed to you for several months to one house. That's a pretty easy commitment to make compared to signing a long-term agreement. So a lot of times you can show that one house, they see what a great job you do, now they're comfortable going ahead and signing with you. Same thing with listing appointments. A lot of times I would get the old 15 minutes of time in. If they didn't want to do a full listing appointment, I'd say, I understand completely, because that, that does take up a lot of time. Why don't we do this? A lot of times I can answer people's questions, my prospects' questions, my clients' questions in about 15 minutes. What if I just stopped by, reviewed your home, and I'll be in and out in about 15 minutes and answer the major questions you have? That would typically lead to, well, just go ahead and sit down and let's talk. Or it would lead to a full appointment. Because if they can make a very small commitment, 15 minutes is an easy commitment to make compared to an hour and a half, and I'm on a listing appointment and they've got to decide whether they're going to list their house, etc. Major question and closing. You get rejected, fall back to a smaller question and closing, and you'll see benefits from that. Hope that makes sense. Again, I'm Stuart Sutton, eXp Realty. We do train, coach, and mentor the agents who join us. Knolly Williams and Rand Smith, I'm very blessed to be associated with two of the finest coaches and trainers in America today. If I can help you in any way, let me know. We do help agents increase their income, add lucrative income streams through marketing and niche marketing, and that allows you to spend more time with your family and manage your business much, much more efficiently. Again, Stuart Sutton. Remember, it's your choice, so make it a powerful day. Bye-bye.